Stop trying to help people. It's not going to get you what you want from relationships, and it's not going to lead you to the life that you desire if what you want is to live a life that is purposeful and meaningful and fulfilling. So, you're probably a highly sensitive person. And one of the gifts of being a highly sensitive person is our capacity to see the good in others and to want to bring out the good in other people. And something that you need to be careful of in relationships is making sure that you do not ignore the not good in order to go on this mission to excavate the good in another. Because what tends to happen when we do hyperfixate on this image that we've constructed of another person, where we are holding all of their best qualities, whether they are genuine or not, we're placing them on this pedestal. We've constructed this image of another person, and we're ignoring all of the not so great things because we just believe so wholeheartedly that this person can rise to meet this potential that we have constructed, right? It's not even that they necessarily have constructed. And you need to just be aware that when you are doing this, you are self abandoning, right? So you are making the decision to pour your energy into another person, whether they are asking you to do it or not. You are self abandoning by trying to fix another person. And anyone who's ever been in a relationship in a situation like this knows that the way that this ultimately ends up when you do step into this kind of savior complex, when you are trying to fix someone and save someone and you're always stepping into that role, it often leads to resentment. It never leads to a positive outcome where you're like, wow, this person like totally and completely transformed. What generally ends up happening is that that person doesn't change because what these situations are showing you, the truth of these types of dynamics, are that the other person is in this they are showing this dichotomy of these like two different selves to you because they are not fully integrated within themselves, right? There are aspects of them that are not in alignment with you, and that is on them to do that work, right? Like nobody can change them except for them choosing to do so. And so when you step into the role of the savior, when you step into constantly the role of the fixer, there's resentment builds, not just resentment from them because maybe they don't want to be fixed or they're feeling like you're holding something over their head that they didn't ask for, right? But it also builds resentment within you because you are pouring your energy into this other person instead of pouring energy into yourself. And so what really inspired me to want to talk about this concept today and this idea of stopping helping people and not letting that be your motivation in life is because I think that when people are setting out on a spiritual journey, when they're setting out on the path of self discovery and self awareness, it's often because you feel deeply within you that you have a soul's calling, that you have a bigger mission, a bigger reason why you're here on this earth now in this incarnation. And you're trying to figure out what that is, right? Like you're trying to figure out what is going to lead me to fulfillment in my life, what is going to give me a sense of purpose. And the most natural thing to think of is to think, I am here to help others. I am here to serve others in some way, right? But just like when you approach a relationship from that perspective, where you're like, I am going to fix somebody, I'm going to help heal this person, I'm going to save this person, it doesn't lead you where you think it's going to lead you. And so I know for me personally, when because I've helped a lot of people in my life, like from a creative perspective, I've poured a lot of energy into other people's projects, other people's dreams. And as much as I am really proud of the work that I've done for other people, and that work was instrumental in me learning things, and I think that that's a key point here also, is that there's a time and a place for everything, right? And so don't judge yourself for already having been in situations where maybe you have stepped into that savior complex. Maybe you are in situations now where you feel like you're pouring your energy into other people's projects or into things that are not necessarily yours or whatever. There's a purpose to everything, right? And so every chapter that you're in your life is teaching you something. And so I think that that's important to recognize that as a highly sensitive person, as a person who is coming into deeper awareness of their soul's mission, sometimes these little chapters that show us these things about ourselves are important so that we can recognize, okay, actually, I realized where I was abandoning myself instead of pouring my energy into myself. And so when I was helping all of these other people with their projects and their dreams, it was an act of self-avoidance. It was like I had these talents, I had these skills, and for whatever reason, I felt that my energy was best utilized by helping these other people instead of doing my own thing, right? And I finally reached a point because I was doing a lot of like creative work for other people. And I finally reached a point where I was like, why? It's kind of like I had like a main character moment, right? Where I was like, why am I not doing this stuff for myself? Like, why am I spending so much time and energy helping other people, right? And what tends to happen, again, like I said, we're coming back to those feelings of resentment because at a certain point there's no amount of money that can take the space of you executing your own creative vision, you having your own creative pursuits, you stepping into that role where you are the main character, where you are the one that is, you know, creating the vision for what it is that you're doing with your life. And so when I started teaching yoga, I really came up against this realization because, and I was talking about this once with a friend of mine who is a body worker. So again, she's a service provider, right? And we both were talking about the fact that, like, for both of us, our motivation is not like when I'm teaching yoga, I'm not like, it's not from a selfless place. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm doing this because I just want to help people. That is simply not the truth when it comes to my teaching. And it was interesting, my friend who's the body worker was saying the same thing, that that's not what she's motivated by. Her motivation is not helping other people. Our motivation for what we do is that we enjoy it. Okay? I love teaching yoga. And I don't love it because I'm like, oh, I just get to touch the lives of so many people. That's just simply not the truth. I love it because I like to create experiences. I like to set the lights. I like to create the music. I like to move my body in interesting ways. I like the entire vibe of it is enjoyable for me. And of course, the fact that other people enjoy it too makes it even more enjoyable for me. But the reason why I've been able to do this for 10 plus years is because I love it, because it makes me happy. It brings me joy. And it's the same thing with, all the other things that I do now in my life. My motivation is never I just want to help people. My motivation is I want to do what I love. And if that helps people, then that makes it even better. That makes me love it even more. Does that make sense? Like, I often come across these videos online, and they're people that are like buying food for homeless people or stuff like that, and they're filming it, right? And there will always be, a plethora of people in the comments that are like, why can't you just do this and not film it? And the obvious answer to that is because they like it, right? They like the attention that they're getting. They like the process of making these videos and putting them online. There is a selfish reason why they are doing what they're doing. But because they are doing what they're doing, they are helping a lot of people, right? They're able to raise all these funds to donate to people. They are inspiring other people to go out and help. They are, maybe someone's having a bad day and they're scrolling and that video lightens their mood and lightens their day. So it's like them acting from a place that makes them feel good is having this ripple effect of like inspiring so many other people and helping other people. And so I think that the point that I'm trying to get across is that the helping of the people should be the byproduct of you following your passion, pursuing your joy, and doing what you love. Because when you are in alignment, when you are in that frequency of loving what you're doing, loving what you're creating, feeling passionate, feeling inspired, that is the true soul frequency. Following your joy. I have always felt that way. You've got to follow your joy, because when you self-sacrifice and you're like, my motivation is to go out and help, and that that act of self sacrifice often leads you back to resentment. The same way that I was talking about in, personal relationships, like when we're not just talking about, purpose in a larger sense, but we're talking about interpersonal relationships, it's like self sacrifice always leads you back to a sense of resentment. You always feel like the cup is not full, that you are pouring from an empty cup. It always feels like the energetic exchange is not equal, right? Whereas if the energy that you are doing, whatever it is that you're doing, is coming from a place of joy, it's coming from a place of, what lights you up, what makes you happy. And, just to go back to the yoga for a second, I was having a conversation with a friend and we were talking about this one music producer and how, he's been around forever. He's very well known, very famous. And if you come across him at Burning Man and he's playing a set for like, 100,000 people or tens of thousands of people or whatever, the energy that he brings to that is going to be exactly the same as if you run into him and he's just like throwing down on like some decks at a little camp and there's like 5 people there dancing. He brings the same aura, the same energy to what he's doing. And the reason for that is because he just loves to do it. It doesn't matter who's there, right? And I relate so much to that when it comes to my teaching. Like, I don't care if the class has 35 people in it. I don't care if it's 100 people. I don't care if one person shows up. I'm still going to do what I love to do because I love to do it. That's why I'm doing it, right? And so if that's your motivation, then that joy, that love, that cannot be taken from you, right? Like, this is a perfect example of like the circumstances are irrelevant when the joy and the fulfillment and the mission, the soul's mission and the soul's activation is coming from within you, right? So I would love to hear like how this resonates with you and your experience with trying to help people, whether it's in relationships or when it comes to stepping into your soul's mission and your soul's purpose here in this lifetime. And I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk with you again soon.